watch football. We've reached the second half of the season on 4th and Goal, the area's only show dedicated to Section 4 football. As the weather turns to feel more like fall, the heat turns up on the playoff races. SV and Owego go head-to-head, jockeying for position in a tightly packed Class B. Forks, Newark Valley, and Sidney all put undefeated records on the line. And our game of the week, the UE Tigers come into homecoming with a 4-0 record. Can the Tigers turn a slow start around at halftime to hold off the Blue Raiders? The season is winding down, but there's plenty of action left to cover, so grab a chair and leave that remote on the table for the next half hour because... And don't you forget... Welcome to the second half of the season here on 4th and Goal, the Southern Tier's only show specifically for Section 4 football. Alongside Dan North, I'm Jeremy Donovan. And Dan, Class B with another big week.
Even with Forks entering the week 4-0, still not close to clinching the division, but SV and Norwich breathing down the Blue Devils' necks.
The Blue Devils can create some distance under the lights on Friday night against Waverly. Sean Weiser starting things off for Forks on the sweep to the outside, picks up 30-plus yards. That's more than enough to move the chains, and that's a first down. That sets up Chris Borelli going up top to Connor Borchardt. What a grab by him on the bobble. And a touchdown. Blue Devils up 7-0 late in the first. Borchardt coming up big on defense as well. Gavin Judson passing. Borchardt somehow picks off the rocket. Forks is back in business. And Dan Crowningshield taking care of that one on the ground. Just manages to cross the plane. Forks still unbeaten. They cruise 48-6.
Boy, are they good. We're sticking with Class B. Why not? Best division in Section 4. Owego, Susquehanna Valley. Big game. First quarter, Sabres driving. Jared Freege on the option, but he keeps it, running it into the end zone on 4th down. That puts SV up 7-0. Later, it's raining, and check this out, Jeremy. Bad snap, but hold up, the whistle is blown. Ruled a safety.
Say what?
Hunter's knee was never down. Questionable call, but nonetheless, it's 7-2. Then it's Tyler Phelps for the Indians on the option, and he's keeping it. Phelps has open space, makes a move, and guess what? He's gone. 57 yards for the touchdown, 8-7 Owego, but it's the Sabres pulling this one out, 29-22.
In Spartan Country, the Spartan 300 pretty pumped up for this one against Windsor. Section semis rematch from last year, and early on, Joe Mancini, option keeper, and he's keeping it all the way in, 60 yards untouched for the touchdown. It's 6-0 Spartans, but ensuing kickoff, because it's the only time we really can use the word ensuing.
Right.
Dante Kimbrough, speaking of untouched, this kid's incredible. 80 yards and nobody's getting to him. Just like that, Windsor takes a 7-6 lead, but the Spartans coming right back. Later, Mancini on the option again, this time dishing. Tyler Leniak jukes a couple of defenders until a swarm of Black Knights eventually takes him down. Still, though, picking up the first down. Spartans keeping things on the ground. Ryan Brozovic getting the ball and going right up the middle. He finds Pater. Spartans regain the lead. Then in the third quarter, much of the same. Josh Chandler getting the call, stiff arms, and that kid's gone. Scores the touchdown, helps the Spartans win big, 54-28, gaining some momentum as we narrow down the end of the regular season.
We see the progress that we've made, and that's the important thing. You know, this year it's a little bit different than it has been in the past because everybody makes the playoffs. You know, so you're going to end up, to win the section, you're going to end up having to beat 3 teams that you've already played. So, you know, we know that we just have to get better each week.
The Spartans take on Shenango Valley next week, looking for their 3rd straight win.
In Norwich, it was homecoming weekend against Shenango Valley, and that's much across the Southern Tier. The town is out in full. First quarter, CV already trailing by a touchdown. Drew Walsh makes it happen on the touch, takes the inside, makes a man miss. He's off to the races, taking it down inside the 5. Tornadoes on the goal line, and then from there it's Walsh again, doing it all himself tonight. Well, Saturday night, or Friday night. 3-yard score puts Norwich up 14-0.
Whichever day of the week.
CV trying to make it a game, already down 4 possessions. Anthony Forbadusi to Nathan Klein. He must be covered in baby oil, slipping through his 64 yards to put CV on the board. But hold up. Jeremy, we're saying hold up a lot tonight. There's a flag. Block in the back. Norwich is your winner, 48-13.
Plenty of action going on in Class D as well. Sydney, the clear favorite, at least statewide. They're ranked number 2, but Harpersville and Green both trying to make a bid for the playoff. Let's go out to Harpersville as they take on Green, and struggling the Hornets are to get something going in the first. Josh Wilson with the run out of the backfield, but that's a loose ball. Coy Austin falls on it for the Trojans, and they take over possession. Then on the offensive side, Austin getting it done there as well. Keeping it himself, shedding a tackle, and then lunging for the end zone. And that's a touchdown. Trojans take a 7-0 lead. Later, Hornets down 10 now, needing a boost to just getting said boost from Wilson on the end around along the sideline, tiptoeing his way down, stays in bounds. They call it a touchdown. That's a 10-7 game. We take a closer look. Wilson just catching the edge of the line there, but hey, if they didn't see it, it didn't happen. Green wins this one big though, 30-7.
If we lose this game, we don't go to playoffs. Is pretty much how it was, and we want to be the first team in Green history to go to playoffs twice. And so far, we're definitely determined, and we'll make it happen.
You know, our goal is always to improve every week, and I think we've done that. If you watch the scores and watch our games, we've gotten better every week, and we're hoping to do that again next week.
Green faces off against Oxford on Friday.
And speaking of Oxford, the Blackhawks looking to turn their season around against Sydney. In the second, Sydney's Reggie Jimenez takes the handoff, but look out for that truck. Blackhawks, big Matt Kroon comes up to clean up that play. It's 30-7 Sydney. Sydney, though, a few minutes later, Ethan Finch on the snap, and he's in trouble. Run, Big Mac again, just seeing it. But the Warriors say 20 yards, easy. Ethan Finch again in the pocket, lets it fly to Brandon Evans for a touchdown. Warriors win big, 44-8.
Tioga hosting Groton, no score in the first, and the right side toss goes to Nick Klossner, and he hits the right stick for the juke move, and he's into the end zone pretty easily. Tigers up 7-0. Indians backed up in their own territory. Adam Kronk back to pass. Slippery football on this Friday night. Dylan Eaton first down, and then some. Tigers handoff now to Trey Floyd. Bounces to the outside, and nobody's bringing him down. 31 yards to the end zone, 14-0 Tigers. Then again, 15 yards out, and it's Klossner following his blocks, punches it in for 6. He's pretty pumped up, and why not? Tioga takes this one, 41-6.
Jeremy, I know our favorite part of the show is usually hit and play of the week, but my favorite part is game of the week. UE Tigers and Horseheads coming up next.
You're watching 4th and Goal, Fox and 40. Go Tigers!
The UE Tigers have won 4 section titles in the last 5 years, and while it's hard to argue with the results, they haven't exactly done it easily. 4 regular season wins last year before taking the title, and just 2 regular season wins in the 2014 section championship season. But that's all in the past. Head coach Tom Bellino said in the preseason they wanted to win in the regular season as well as the postseason. And at 4-0 this year, they've done just that. Our game of the week is sponsored by Nurchie's on the Avenue. The Tigers hosting the Horseheads Blue Raiders on homecoming weekend on the north shores of the Susquehanna. We start things off, as you normally do, in the first quarter. No score, but Horseheads threatening. Jack Chalk connects with Josh Tolpa deep in Tiger territory. That's good enough for a first down, but 4th and goal, that's the name of the show and this play. From the 1, Gavin Elston meets a wall of Tigers linemen. UE takes over on downs. That's Devin Hogan's cue. The UE quarterback calling his own number 10. Nobody's laying a finger on him. 82 yards to the house, and the Tigers have a lead, but that lead pretty short-lived. There's a flag down on the play. It's a holding call against the Tigers. This one coming all the way back, and we have no score after one. Second quarter we go. Hogan talking it over on the sideline, seeing what the next generation of Tigers has to say, and whatever it was, it worked. Hogan back to pass, but elects to take off instead, and good thing, too. 24 yards, that moves the chains. And then Hogan, how about we just do it all again? This time, though, up the middle, through defender and into the end zone. Sure, why not? Easy peasy. Tigers take the lead with a minute left in the half, 7-0. Back with the ball after a Horseheads punt. Hogan turning into a one-man show. This kid can do it all. That's another big run. Gets out of bounds and picks up another first down. Now 1 second left on the clock within striking distance. Hogan looking for Brennan Cornell in the end zone, but it's broken up by Matthew Stassi, and we head to the half. Tigers up 7-0. Bit of a slow start for a team that entered the week 4-0. Maybe the band's halftime show can serve as inspiration the Tigers need. I mean, why not? Darius Billingsley starting things off to the outside, turns the corner, gets the first down, jukes a few defenders, and fights for a few extra inches. Then it's Hogan again up the middle, plays a little pinball with Horseheads defenders. That makes it a 14-0 lead. But Hogan, not just a running quarterback, lobbing it up for Cornell. This time ain't nobody getting in the way. 21-0 Tigers. Raiders looking for something, anything. In the red zone, fourth down chalk to pass. Adam Thomas thinking pick six all the way. Drops the INT, but Tigers take over anyway. Hogan deciding it's time to share the wealth. Jack Thomas, stiff arm into the secondary, cuts back, finally taken down at the 42. Then Thomas truck sticks his way in for the score from 7 yards out. Nail, meet coffin. Tigers win 33-12 and remain undefeated. Let's go over to Dan North with more.
Jeremy, thanks a lot. Here with Union Endicott's head football coach, Tom Bellino. Coach, thank you for joining me here. And 5-0 start to the season, big win over Horseheads to get your 5th win of the year. You guys are really impressing a lot of people so far.
Yeah, the kids are playing well right now, so we're pretty excited. We have a good group of guys. So they're hard working in practice. We worked a lot in the off season, and it's paying off.
What do you think the biggest difference is this year compared to last year? Obviously, you had a big guy like Josh Henderson, or Josh Greenwood last year, and now Devin Hogan has kind of taken that spot and really showed up big for you guys. What's been the difference this year?
I think our team speed is a big difference. We're fast in all positions, including the offensive line. So we might not be as big as we were last year, but we're certainly quicker overall.
Now we talk about Devin. He had a few touchdowns in that Horseheads game, and he's really had a lot of touchdowns so far this season. What can you say about him and his improvement from the offseason into this year?
The offseason, he was just working out, tremendously. So he was very dedicated to his senior year of football, and you could see in his performance now. He's been hitting the weights really hard, so he put on some good size, plus he's a great leader. So he leads by example. He's very vocal. He's respected by his teammates, classmates, and teachers.
And obviously 5-0 to start the season. You guys are moving up quickly in those state rankings. How does it look like? You've been talking about how you're playing a lot of AA teams, and now you move to single A. But with that in mind, how do you guys feel where you are about just over halfway through the season?
We're feeling pretty good and pretty confident. We have a big game coming up, and we're playing AA schools, and now we'll play a single A school, but that doesn't really matter when you're talking about UE Vestal. It's a rivalry that's been like 100 years old, and it doesn't matter who has more kids in their student body or not. This is going to be a great game. I think adults put more emphasis on the size of school than the players and the kids do. You just have to go out there, and there's 11 guys on offense and 11 guys on defense.
You talk about UE Vestal and that rivalry. You talk about the history of it a little bit, but what have you seen from Vestal so far this year, coming off a short week and win against Ithaca? What do you expect from them this weekend?
They're a very good team, so we're going to have to play 4 quarters of hard-nosed UE football to compete with them. Their line is very good. They have a very good skill position, so they're a well-rounded team, so we'll have our hands full.
And finally, what do you think is the goal for this team? You guys perfect so far. Is the ultimate goal state championship? What are you thinking?
Our ultimate goal is to get better every day. So the wins and losses, the scoreboard, state ranking, state championship, they all take care of itself as long as we're improving every day. And if those things kind of fall into place, great. But all we can ask for is just to get better every day.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining me again.
Thanks for having me.
Well, more 4th and goal right after this.
Captain the first Norwich High School State Championship team in 1919-1920. Tim Whitney also.
Hey, Dan, you know what time it is?
Well, it looks like about 4 minutes to 11.
Yeah, I was thinking more time to go no huddle.
Oh, yeah.
Vestal hosting Ithaca Thursday night to accommodate those observing Yom Kippur. The Golden Bears out to an early lead and adding to it. Matt Carr runs the play action to perfection, fakes out Cameron Boy a bit there, connects with Pierce Anon. 44 yards for the touchdown. Vestal cruises 42-6.
How about Binghamton looking to turn things around out in Elmira? And guess what? This guy helping out, Dan Crowley. He connects with Jalen Ragsdale in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown. Patriots win it in the final seconds with a 33-32 victory.
Up the hill to Johnson City. Gavin McKercher playing a big role for the Wildcats in this one. Nice play fake, and he's keeping it on the option. Huge gain for JC, but unfortunately for the Wildcats, Corning coming away with this one, 40-21, your final.
Number 1 in the state for Class C, Newark Valley hosting Whitney Point this weekend. Tyler Beebe has been tearing it up this year and continued to do so on this day. 40-0 Newark Valley in the second quarter. They win 58-24.
How about some 8-man football? Seton hosting Cooperstown. This guy was a tank for the Saints Friday night. Christian Sinden breaking all the tackles all night long, running it in for the touchdown and dodging Hawkeyes like it's his job. Seton wins 22-8. Here's some scores from around the rest of the section in week 5. More 4th and goal after the break.
We're watching 4th and goal on Fox 40.
Fox 40, Fox 40, Fox 40. As time winds down in our 4th quarter, we've saved the best for last.
And it's time to hand out some hardware and see how Section 4 stacks up in our latest ranking. So, Jeremy, let's get to it.
Our play of the week takes us back to our game of the week. Tigers leading the Horseheads late in the 3rd quarter. Devin Hogan showing off the arm, throwing into double coverage. But check out Jack Thomas showing off the speed to get there. Makes the diving catch. This one gets called back on illegal motion at the line, which can't deny talent. It's due. I'm counting it as our play of the week.
I like it. And our hit of the week comes from the first quarter of the first game of the week. And this is Thursday night. Vestal, Ithaca, Mason Booth scrambling, completing the pass to Reese Michaels. But look out, Matt Thrasher there immediately to lower the shoulder and take Michaels down.
You could say he gave him a thrashing and turned him into Reese's pieces.
Jeremy, I think it's time for bed. We ought to go home.
Not yet, though. We still got to get through the rankings. No change in our rankings 1 through 6. A pretty steady week there at the top.
Yeah, I like it. And then Vestal jumping up to number 7 from number 9 with their 4th win of the season. And then Lansing moving up, or staying the same actually as well. And then Deposit Hancock getting in there. Norwich back in our top 10 as well.
That'll do it for us here this evening. 5 down, 3 to go.
Thanks again to our sponsor, Nurchies on the Ave. I'm Dan North.
I'm Jeremy Donovan. We'll see you on the sidelines.